Welcome to another NBA 2K25 Kobe Bryant era rebuild. Today is the LA Clippers. My videos have been coming out way too long. I definitely don't want them to be an hour long like they have been. So I've decided after the first year, after doing the draft, the 2003 draft, and getting one of the great players in that draft added to the team, I'm going to try to make it much quicker going from season to season instead of following almost my every move in the different phases of the season. Try to skip ahead and then give a summary of some of the things that happen and hopefully cut down the time of this video by a lot. So the LA Clippers in 2002 to 2003, they had some expectations, lots of good young players, and they had just missed out on the playoffs the year before. But then they only ended up winning 27 games, and a bunch of those young stars all left the team. And today I'm going to try to change their fortunes and, try to build a good team. I don't know if I'll be able to keep them all just like they didn't stay there in real life, but I'm going to give it a shot. So without further ado, here is a history and facts of the LA Clippers. The Clippers began life in 1970 as the Buffalo Braves, but their mascot could have been a suitcase. They moved to San Diego in 1978 and became the Clippers, named after the sailing ships. When they landed in LA in 1984, it was like someone trying to sneak into Hollywood's VIP party. Spoiler alert, they didn't get the red carpet. In 1981, Donald Sterling bought the Clippers for $12.5 million. What followed was an ownership style best described as chaotic energy. His big move? Taking the team to Los Angeles without NBA approval. Bold? Yes. Smart? Debatable. By the early 2000s, the Clippers had gone through coaches faster than kids go through Halloween candy. One highlight, Bill Fitch, from 1994 to 98, who somehow kept his sense of humor coaching a team that once had a 17-win season. The Clippers were a lottery regular in the 80s and 90s, but their picks were like bad blind dates. They passed on future stars like Paul Pierce in 1998 and even Michael Jordan in 1984. Their luck in the draft was a comedy of errors. Danny Manning was the Clippers' first real star after they drafted him number 1 in 1988. He had an excellent run, but this being the Clippers, they traded him in 1994 for an aging Dominique Wilkins. It's like trading a brand new car for a used pogo stick. The Clippers shared the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena with the USC Trojans before moving to the Staples Center in 1999. It wasn't exactly prime real estate compared to the Lakers' glitz and glam. Fans joked the arena smelled like popcorn and crushed dreams. In 2001, the Clippers signed Isaiah Ryder, a talented but mercurial player. His stint lasted a whopping 10 games, proving the only consistent thing about the Clippers was inconsistency. The Clippers had a knack of acquiring veterans well past their primes, from Bill Walton's brittle knees in the 1980s to Dominique Wilkins in the 90s. Their roster often resembled a retirement home of former stars. By the early 2000s, hope started to flicker thanks to young talents like Elton Brand, Lamar Odom, and Darius Miles. Fans finally had reason to believe, or at least to be cautiously optimistic. Sharing LA with the Lakers was always a tough gig. By 2002, the Clippers' rivalry with the Lakers was more like a sitcom sibling fight, one dominated by the flashy older sibling, while the younger one tried to prove they weren't just there to hold their towels. So here's the roster of the 2002 to 2003 LA Clippers. First glance, you look at this team and, Andre Miller is 26, Corey Maggette at 22, Lamar Odom at 22, Elton Brand at 23, Michael Candy at 27. Quentin Richardson coming off the bench. He's only 22. I mean, this looked like a great young team. I mean, they've got pretty good ratings. And the team in real life just flamed out. And then I think Corey Maggette and Elton Brand ended up staying, but everyone else on the team left. So they lost all of these good players that went on to have really good careers elsewhere. So as always, I'm going to do my first move of trying to see if I can get the Pistons to trade me their Grizzly pick. And everyone's up for grabs on the team. I don't think this team can do well. I don't think the players are going to stay after the season. So might as well get rid of them to be able to get this high draft pick. It always seems like Elton Brand, no matter where he signs, is never happy and never re-signs with them. And he only has 1 year left on his contract. I'll pick up a multi-year on Chucky Atkins and get that Grizzlies first round pick. So I'm going to take that trade. So now let's see what this looks like. I mean, they have good players. Tim Mitchell is the coach. They are playing defense. Why playing defense? Oh, wow. So I'm just going to play out this first season. I know they're going to do poorly. That's expected. And then figure out in the first off season how to improve this team. See you at the end of the season. So end of season 1. In real life, the Clippers won 27 games, and I traded to Elton Brand, and he didn't seem to make much of a difference because they still won 28 games. So not quite as bad as they did in real life, but not a great team. And I was right. The contract extension deadline, no one wanted to re-sign with the team. So Tim Duncan wins the first MVP. Yao Ming is Rookie of the Year. Bobby Jackson is the 6th player. Ben Wallace is Defensive Player. Ricky Davis is Most Improved. So the regulars. Coach of the Year, Byron Scott. And Tyler Richard with the Detroit Pistons, who went 59-23 as the Executive of the Year. All-NBA First Team, Kobe Bryant, Jason Kidd, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Shaquille O'Neal. There is the second team. The third team, surprisingly, no Clippers on it. All-Defensive First Team, All-Defensive Second Team, All-Rookie First Team, and Second Team. So we did not make the playoffs. Take a look at the standings. San Antonio Spurs won the West. Lakers slightly behind them. Houston Rockets, and then the Memphis Grizzlies, whose pick we have. In the East, the New Jersey Nets came in first, Detroit Pistons second, and at the bottom, you have the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers, as usual. So, the stats. Lamar Odom led the team in points at 16.3, and Corey Maggette, 12.5. Quentin Richardson coming off the bench, 12.4. Andre Miller, 12.1. Olo Candy at 10.6. Atkins at 8.8. Parks at 7.3. And Gigi at 7. Rebounds, Olo Candy at 7. Not a good rebounding team. Lamar Odom at 6.2. Melvin Elliott, 6.2. Assist, Andre Miller at 6.2. Not a good group of defensive players. Olowokandi with 1.7 blocks, not bad though. So yeah, their stats kind of mirrored the season they had. They weren't great. So who wins the first season championship? The Pacers, with Jermaine O'Neal winning the MVP. Don't believe I've seen that. Who did they have? Strickland, Ron Artest, Del Harrington, Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, good team, but not great. Lakers were beat out by the Minnesota Timberwolves, really? Okay, interesting. So going right into the offseason, Stockton, Jordan, bunch of regular first season players that retire. Historic changes, just some branding, no rule changes. Now the draft lottery. So the Clippers have fourth and fifth as their top. Let's see how we do. Ouch. So a couple of teams have leapfrogged in to the top three, meaning the Clippers get the sixth and the seventh draft pick. Ouch. Miami gets the fifth. The Grizzlies from their Houston pick get the fourth. Trailblazers jumped up to 3. Cavaliers pick second. And that means the first pick with only a 6.4% chance are the Boston Celtics. Was able to trade up into pick number 5. So I want to at least, at worst, be able to get Chris Kaman onto this team and pick up a new center. It cost me the pick number 7, Keon Dooling, and 3 second-round picks. I don't think that's too high of a price to pay to be able to, jump up to the 5th pick. It's going right into the draft. LeBron James is now a Boston Celtic. Carmelo Anthony goes to the Cavaliers. Dwayne Wade is a Trailblazer. Chris Bosh is a Grizzly. And that means I'm going to pick up Chris Kaman to be my new starting center. And what do I want to do? I'm going to pick up Michael Pietrus with my second pick. Came in and Pietrus. There are no team options, no qualifying offers. Okay. I need to clean up this roster real quick before starting to get free agents. So I was able to retain Andre Miller and sign Carlos Boozer with all of the cap space room that we had. So I have my starting point guard. Still need a starting shooting guard. Pietrus is probably going to start off of his rookie season as well as Kaman, and a backup power forward. Well, the first free agency period did not go as well as I had hoped it would. Was able to pick up Boozer, who has gone up by 5 to an 85, which isn't bad. Retain Andre Miller. We drafted Kaman and Pietrus. And, then the rest of the players that we were able to sign, there was slim pickings with the cap space I had left. This did not go well. Let's take a look at the lineup. So this did not go as planned at all. After the first offseason, Andre Miller is going to be the starting point guard. Raja Bell, 73, is going to be shooting guard. Pietrus and Kaman are the 2 rookies that I just drafted and picked up in free agency. A big pickup was Carlos Boozer. Oluwaseyi, Atkins, Bowen, McCarty, and Gigi are coming off of the bench. I think I'm going to go with a 9-man rotation just because I don't need the third center in there. And we'll see how this second season goes. Second season, still not great. Won 38 games, 38 and 44. Yeah, the roster just isn't great yet, but it's still a lot better than the first season. Shaquille O'Neal wins MVP. LeBron James on the Celtics has won Rookie of the Year and Sixth Player of the Year. Tim Duncan is Defensive Player. Andre Miller on the Clippers, most improved, so there's that. Rick Adelman and Derek Irving on Sacramento. Okay, first all NBA first team. Jason Kidd, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Elton Brand. So I let Elton Brand go, and then he makes first team All NBA. Great. Shaquille O'Neal. All NBA second team. All NBA third team. All defensive. Defensive 2. Chris Kaman made all rookie first team. And Michael Pietrus made all rookie second team. So hopefully they'll get a little bit better. I did make the playoffs as the 8th seed. So let's take a look at this roster. We got Miller. Bowen is now starting at shooting guard. Pietrus, Boozer, Gaiman. I'm going to attempt to win some. Wow. We got Steve Smith, Chucky Atkins, and Walter McCarty all hurt. Well, and we're going up against the Sacramento Kings. So Mike Bibby, Doug Christie, Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, and Vitaly Potapenko. So their center is their only weakness. We lose the first game, tie it up 1-1. We take the third game. They tie it up 2-2. They take the lead, and we are going to game 7. This is better than I expected to do, bringing Sacramento to a game 7. But they close this out in 7. Andre Miller going 9 for 21. It's 25 points. Boozer, 18 rebounds, 17 points. Not bad. I mean, these three are a good combination, but it's the surrounding cast that really is an issue. And Chris Webber, 32 points. And the Orlando Magic with Tracy McGrady go on to win the NBA Finals in season number 2. So after off-season number 2, I was able to get some depth and pick up a couple of good free agents. Andre Miller, again, is going to be the starting point guard. Picked up Manu Ginobili in the offseason as a shooting guard. Michael Pietrus as small forward. Boozer is power forward and Kaman is center. Olowokandi is the backup center. Gerald Wallace is backup small forward. Drafted Tony Allen as shooting guard. He will be backing up Ginobili, Gary Trent, and Ryan Bowen. So a much better roster than last season. Was also able to pick up Bill Cartwright as the coach. None of the good coaches would sign. He has some decent proficiencies, so we are 3-star balanced going into season number 3, and barring any major problems and trades at the trade deadline, I'll see you guys at the end of the season. The difference a good offseason made. Ended up winning 55 games, so a huge improvement after season number 2. Tim Duncan in season 3 is the MVP. Dwight Howard is Rookie of the Year. Kenyon Martin, 6th player. Tim Duncan is Defensive Player. Quentin Richardson, former Clipper, wins Most Improved Player. He's on the Bobcats. Byron Scott and Executive of the Year goes to Los Angeles Clippers. So happy with that. So definitely made a big improvement for season 3. Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, and Shaquille O'Neal make up your All-NBA first team. There is the second team. The third team, again, Elton Brand making another All-NBA team after I traded him away. All-defensive team. Defensive second team. Rookie first team, rookie second team. Okay, as far as the standings went, the Hornets won in the West. And the Los Angeles Clippers came in second. So happy with that. Denver Nuggets and Sacramento Kings, who took us out of the playoffs last year, came in second to last. In the Eastern Conference, Chicago Bulls with Gilbert Arenas, Charles Smith, Jalen Rose, Donyell Marshall, and Tyson Chandler. Eddie Curry coming off the bench. Yeah, not a bad team. 61 wins. And the bottom was Toronto, Cleveland, and New York. Charlotte Bobcats, who I was able to swap picks with them for this season, are going to be in the lottery as well. So our first opponent is going to be the Golden State Warriors. Andre Miller going up against Rakosevich. Not familiar with Igor. Jason Richardson, Wally Zerbiak, Anton Jamison, and O'Donnell Foyle. So not an awful team. Let me look at the rotation. Tony Allen is coming off an injury. Might want to bring it down to a 9-man rotation. And let's see how we do against the Warriors. Warriors win game 1, Clippers 2 and 3. We go up 3-1 and win the series 4-1. Now we are playing the Phoenix Suns, who have Stephon Marbury, Penny Hardaway at shooting guard, Mike Miller, Amari Stoudemire, and Anderson Varejao. We win game 1, tie it 1-1. We go up 2-1, go up 3-1, and win out that series. We are now going up against the team with the best record in the season of the New Orleans Hornets. They have Baron Davis, David Wesley, Sean Marion, Jamal Mashburn, and Etan Thomas. That's a pretty decent team. They win game 1. We tie it up. They win game 3. They win game 4. And we lose in 6. So LeBron James, Paul Pierce, Anton Walker going up against that New Orleans Hornets team. And LeBron James pulls it out. Season number 3. The Celtics are the NBA champions. Well, hopefully I'll be able to build a little bit up on the team again this off season. We made it to the Western Conference Finals, so hopefully we can make that jump and take it to the finals this year. Season number 4 of this rebuild. I'd like to build upon the good season we had in 3. So kept all of the same starting lineup, added a little bit off the bench. So we're still going to have Andre Miller, Ginobili, Pietrus, Boozer, and Kaman, with Tony Allen now as the 6th man, Gerald Wallace, Olowokandi. We've had Bobby Jackson as the backup point guard, and I was able to draft Channing Frye to back up Chris Kaman. That's 2 centers. So season 4 comes to a close. Tim Duncan is the most valuable player again. Chris Paul is Rookie of the Year on the New York Knicks. Jason Terry is 6th Player of the Year on the Spurs. Tim Duncan, Defensive Player. Trevor Ariza is Most Improved on Dallas. Greg Popovich wins Coach of the Year, and Stan Myers on the Spurs with 59 wins is the Executive of the Year. All-NBA First Team, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, and Yao Ming. All second, All NBA second, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, of course, are on there. with Vince Carter, Nowitzki, and Bosch. And then you got Carmelo on the third. All defensive first team, all defensive second team. So didn't have any Clippers on any of these teams. All rookie second. So we are the 7th seed. We had a bunch of injuries and other things to deal with. Won 48 games, 34 losses. So we are 7th. Spurs are first in the West. Denver Nuggets and Seattle are coming in at the bottom. Detroit Pistons and then the reigning champion Boston Celtics come in second. And the bottom of the barrel here is the Orlando Magic and the New York Knicks. So season stats. Boozer again comes in top with points, 18.4. Andre Miller at 14.8. Pietrus jumped up a little bit, 14.6. Chris Kaman, 13.9. Oluokandi at 10.4. Ginobili at 9.7. So had a lot of decent bench scoring. But Tony Allen only played 55 games. He's still got 2 to 4 weeks on a strained MCL. Bobby Jackson still has 1 to 2 weeks on a hip. So had some injuries to deal with. Oluokandi was out for a few games. Gerald Wallace, 21 games. So a bunch of injuries to deal with. Carlos Boozer, 12.2 rebounds. Andre Miller at 9.5 assists. Ginobili at 1.2 steals. And Oluokandi off of the bench led in blocks with 1.2. So what can we do on this rotation? Interesting. I mean, Adrian Griffin. Okay, first up is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have Tyronn Lue, Jamal Crawford, Joe Smith, Kevin Garnett, and Dwight Howard. Kevin Garnett and Dwight Howard in the front court is a nasty combination. They win game 1. We tie it up 1-1. Minnesota wins game 3, and we get eliminated in the first round in season number 4. Detroit Pistons beat the Los Angeles Lakers for the Season 4 championship with Chauncey Billups coming in as the MVP. So a bit of a disappointing season. We're going to have a difficult offseason. I think Boozer is on the final year of his contract, and I'm going to need to figure that out. But hopefully I can do something to kind of win a few more games in season number 5. Well, the final offseason was kind of shocking. Was able to sign a new coach in Brian Leonard, defensive coach, so we have 4-star defense. We made a significant improvement on the bench. So Andre Miller will be the starting point guard. Tony Allen. Tony Allen will be the starting shooting guard. Michael Pietrus as starting small forward. Carlos Boozer, I was able to re-sign him as power forward, and Chris Kaman. Before I signed Boozer or matched his contract, I was able to sign Zach Randolph. So Zach Randolph is going to be the backup power forward as our 6th man at an 86 overall. Ginobili is going to be the 7th man. That's shocking. Kenny Satterfeld as point guard backup, Wallace and Fry as backup center. So this team is absolutely stacked. I am really happy with the changes going into the 5th and final season. And really hope that I can pull something out because have not been as successful as I hoped so far in this rebuild. Well, this team is absolutely stacked. And still only won 63 games, although that's not bad, and it's definitely an improvement on last season. But we'll check out what went wrong. It looked like there was some injuries in the middle of the season. Had like a 5-game losing streak, which really, really derailed the season. But still ended up with 63 wins. LeBron James wins MVP. Andrea Bergnani wins Rookie of the Year. Jason Terry, for the second time, wins Sixth Player of the Year. Ben Wallace, a Defensive Player. Jameer Nelson is Most Improved. And Brian Leonard won Coach of the Year after signing him. And Jason Taylor wins the Executive of the Year with a record of 58-24. First team All-NBA. Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwight Howard. So basically Kobe and that 2003 draft and the first player picked in the 2004 draft. So they took off quickly. All-NBA second team. All-NBA third team. And again, Elton Brand coming in on there. Dwayne Wade. He was defensive first team from the moment he entered the league. Kobe Bryant, Karolinko, James, and Wallace are your defensive first team. And then defensive second team. Rookie first team and rookie second team. Okay, so we are the number 1 seed. The Lakers are the 2nd seed. Coming in at the bottom are the Denver Nuggets, Dallas Mavericks, and the New Orleans Hornets. In the East, Chicago, and then Boston. And at the bottom, Cleveland, New Jersey, and New York. Player stats. Boozer at 17.1. Zach Randolph off of the bench for a lot of the season. Did have to step in when Kaman got hurt as the starting center. Doesn't even look like Boozer played or started every single game. So Zach Randolph must have taken some of his starts as well. That was a good problem to have on Zach Randolph coming off the bench. Chris Kaman, 14.5. Pietrus, 13.8. Miller, he was hurt 8 games, not bad, 13.5. Ginobili, 10.3. Satterfeld, Wallace, Fry, and Allen. Rebounds, Boozer and Randolph, then Kaman. Assists, Andre Miller almost hit 10. Pietrus with 1.1 steals, so did Kaman, so did Miller. Allen and Ginobili also with a steal a game. And then Kaman with 1 block a game. Okay, so let's look at the rotation. And then first up, Mike Bibby, Lester Cartwright, generated player, Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, and Ross Mullins. Take the first game. They tie it up 1-1. Clippers win game 3 and 4. And take him out in 5. Next up is the Portland Trailblazers. They have Dwayne Wade, Sean Dudley, generated player at point guard, Bonzi Wells, Chris Humphreys, and Mel Wesley, another generated player. Clippers take game 1, game 2, game 3. Gentlemen sweep, take them in 5. Next up is the Memphis Grizzlies. Jordan Farmar, Quentin Richardson, former Clipper, Shane Battier, Chris Bosh, and Pau Gasol. That front court is really good. We take game 1. They tie it up 1-1. We take game 3. They tie it up. take game 5 and win it in 6. We are now facing the Boston Celtics in the first trip to the finals for the LA Clippers. Andre Miller versus Earl Boykins. Tony Allen, Trenton Hassel. Michael Pietrus will be up against LeBron James. Carlos Boozer against Antoine Walker. And Chris Kaman against Jason Collins. I really like our chances here. The Celtics win game 1. We tie it up. We win game 3. Game 4. And I'll play some sim. Or play some game, actually. Oh, no, I won't. Oops. Wanted to actually have some gameplay, but apparently not. The Clippers take it. And in 5, Chris Kaman is the finals MVP. So at least not a completely disastrous rebuild. Carlos Boozer really stepped up in the playoffs. Kaman wins finals MVP. Zach Randolph coming off the bench with 16 and 8.6. I mean, it was an absolutely stacked team, and I would have been shocked if they wouldn't have won that. So next, coming up, I'm going to give myself a score for the rebuild.
Here is my scorecard
for the Kobe Bryant era LA Clippers rebuild. Came in with a kind of a bad team, poorly constructed roster, only won 28 games in season number 1, won 38 games, so 10 win jump in season number 2, then went up to 55, dropped down to 48, and ended up winning 63 in the final season and the NBA championship. So got 1 championship, 4 playoff appearances out of the 5 seasons, and 1 Executive of the Year award. And then as far as future of the team, I mean, Andre Miller is signed through his age 34 season. Tony Allen will be able to re-sign him, but he's only 25. And Ginobili is signed up, for a very team-friendly deal for years to come. Pietrus is also, and Wallace as his backup. I mean, Pietrus was a pretty good player. Wallace is an awesome backup. Zach Randolph, still have him for a couple more years with Boozer for a few more years before he has a player option, and then Kaman and Fry. So basically the core of the team, except for a backup point guard, the core of the team is pretty locked for years to come. So I think this team has a great future with what they pulled out in this 5th and final season. So with the LA Clippers, took Chris Kaman as the player from the 2003 draft. Had 1 championship. I would call it a 6 for team success. That drop in season 4 and the fact it started off so horribly, didn't exactly have the most successful team. And executive success, I think I could have done better until that last season. That last off season was awesome, but I think I could have done better there. So that's one of the lower ones of all of my rebuilds so far. And the team future, I would say, is a 9. They have a really bright future. But all in all, that would put this at the 2nd worst rebuild that I've done. I'd like to think most of it is the team I was given. Really should have kept Brand out of all of those players on the team. I mean, I let Odom go, Maggette go. I could have done that differently on trying to keep different players. Really, I think Chris Kaman did all right. He wasn't Bosh, LeBron, Wade, or Carmelo. So, getting only the 5th pick in this was a little bit disappointing. But all in all, it was a fun rebuild. Please leave some comments on anything you think I did wrong that I'm unaware of. And thanks. Like and subscribe if you can. And I'll see you next time with the Memphis Grizzlies.